Listen up, Divine Diva. You are going to love this podcast. You're going to laugh your way through this podcast, and you're going to be like, oh my God, she's talking to me. Why? Because you can't skip 3D work to live in the 5D. You ready? Here we go. Because I see way too many people out there trying to live in the 5D while completely ignoring their 3D responsibilities. Like, baby, what you doing? The rent is due, your nervous system is shaking, you still get triggered when somebody else leaves you on read. You can barely sit with yourself for 5 minutes without disassociating into the ethers. But you're out here talking about, I don't subscribe to 3D. Like, like you're not still paying for gas and groceries and them eggs that everybody was so worried about. Make it make sense. Because let me tell you something real quick. You cannot skip your 3D lessons just because you want to play in the 5D. It doesn't work like that. So let's talk about why the 3D work is non negotiable, why spiritual bypassing is not high vibrational, but also it's just avoidance, and how you can actually move through this work in the most fun, easy, and bougie way possible, because we are divine divas. Let's go. Let me talk about this again. I want to bring this up again because you need to understand that 3D is not about a dimension, it's about density, okay? The biggest misconception is that when people hear 3D and 5D, they think about dimension, but it's density, matter. 3D matter, meaning it's heavier, it's slower, it's thicker. It's where it takes time for things to manifest, where actions and consequences play out over a linear time. And the higher you go in density, the less dense it becomes, which is why, like in the 5D, creations, manifestations are instant. But here's the gag. You don't just wake up one day in the 5D suddenly thinking you're living in instant manifestation paradise. Because if you're carrying wounds, triggers, lack, mindset, limiting beliefs, attachment to struggle, guess what will manifest instantly for you? More wounds, more triggers, more struggle. And that's what you may be experiencing right now, because we are straddled between both. And so you might say, oh my God, I thought something like, and then boom, it happened. And when it's great, you're like, yay. But when you're like, no, you don't want it, you're like, no. Let me tell you something. Recently, I'm human, okay? Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Heifers out there, divas, don't judge me. Okay. So recently, I guess we're thinking since November, right? You have the election thing. And I'm all about telling men, so don't pay attention to it. If you're going to get stuck in it, don't pay attention and all the things. And I started to look at like how when I paid more attention and I'm scrolling on the TikTok feed and stuff starts to, like annoy me or irk me. And then, of course, I'm doing my work. I'm shifting through. I'm using the Align Soul Alchemy, the quantum healing method. We've got the podcast up there. I'll link it in there. So I'm doing all this stuff, but I noticed that when I think of things and they're negative, it was just manifesting quick. Like I would have momentum, and then all of a sudden the momentum would slow down to a fucking halt. And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on here? But it's because things are moving faster. Instant manifestation is here, kind of. Things are manifesting a lot faster. And when your unresolved stuff isn't resolved, right? You start to see it slap you upside your head a lot faster. This is why you cannot skip the 3D work. You have to clear your energy, integrate your shadows, and move through your lessons. And when you do, the 5D quantum magic actually will work in your favor right now. So let's talk about spiritual bypassing and the Delulu Olympics. Look, I love good Delulu. Delulu is the Salulu. I am pro Delulu. Delusion is actually literally one of my most powerful manifestation/creation tools. But, there is a difference between delusionally confident and spiritually bypassing. It's different. I'm going to say that again. There is a difference between being delusionally confident, which is amazing. I teach you how to do that. It's fabulous. But there's a difference between that and spiritually bypassing your shit. Because some of y'all are competing in the Delulu spiritual bypassing Olympics. Let me tell you what it looks like. The gold medal in ignoring my deepest wounds while I preach about high vibes only. The silver medal, pretending that money isn't real until my bills are due. The bronze, I don't do triggers, but you just had a meltdown over a TikTok comment. If this is you, let's reel it in. The 5D is about expansion, quantum creation, divine embodiment. But you can't really embody your highest self while you're still running from parts of you that need healing. It doesn't work like that. So let's talk about how actually to do the 3D work and move through it fast, fun, and in full divine diva energy. Listen to the podcast I did before, Quantum Healing Method. Okay? That is so good. And now let me give you some details. So if lessons are popping up like popcorn at the movies, there's a lot of popcorn. AKA you feel like every time you blink, life is throwing a new challenge at you. Good. That means that you are clearing shit at a rapid speed. You are collapsing timelines. You are activating a new level. And instead of feeling like, why does this keep happening to me? Ask, what is this showing me? What part of me still believes this old story? How can I move through this instead of avoiding it? Because once you get the lesson, the test stops repeating. Okay? Once you get the lesson, the test stops repeating. So this is for you. I have something else. If you guys are like, well, that's not happening to me, I feel like nothing is coming up much, I got something for you. Stay tuned. Stay listening. This isn't just, but let me talk to the people first. Let me talk to you. If pop, you're like trigger after trigger after trigger after trigger, I can't, right? Or you're watching and looking at like all of the stuff that's happening, all of the crazy chaos or all that stuff, and you're like, oh my God, what is this? Witchery. Okay, look, it's not witchery. Witchery is a good thing. It's not that. It's that there are so many things that you get to clear. It's so many things that you get to close the timeline on. So many things that you get to close the loop. You get to heal for your ancestral timeline, for your past lives. You get to be like, I'm the one that's here to close it out for good. I'm so excited. Get excited when that comes up. And you use the Aligned Soul Alchemy process because you get to start looking at stuff from a neutral standpoint. You get to look at it from observation, not that you're doing something wrong. That's why the questions are not, why does this keep happening to me? That's not the questions. The questions are, what is this trying to show me? Yes. What part of me still believes in this old story? How can I move through this instead of avoiding it? That is where you're going to win. And if you need help with that, you can get in my, there's so many things, right? There's this podcast, right? We talked about the quantum healing. There is my rapid alignment method. There's a podcast special. We'll make sure that that's in the show notes. There is Unbothered. Oh my goodness, that is so good. And you have a podcast special for the Unbothered. It's $27. There's Sugar Baby. Oh my God. If you buy Unbothered, while you're checking out, you can click the thing and you can get Sugar Baby at the lowest cost you'll ever get it. So good. Like there's so much, so many things. I mean, so many tools, free and investment. The investment just goes deeper and helps you move quicker. That's all. So you have no excuse. All right. Now, let me talk to my divas that have been doing this work for a long, long time, like me. So if you've been doing this for a long time and it feels like there's less to shift, welcome to my world. Once you've done years of inner work, you've cleared the biggest wounds, you've healed and integrated and done all the things. What's next? I like to stretch myself. Okay. So I don't just do the work to be healed. I do it to keep growing and playing a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger game. I have a podcast that I called, it was Slip Space Creation, right? Slip Space and Quantum Leaping. Listen to that. I'll tag that in this podcast as well. That one talks about like really expanding, like really, really, really expanding and like stretching yourself. And so, what I like to do is I like to say, okay, what would I like to create? What's my universe blow my mind, right? So that means I'm going straight to the biggest of the biggest thing. And then I'm giving myself the feelings that I would want to feel and choosing that that's me now. Like, I don't need the thing to be like, oh, that's who I am. So, for example, for me, I'm like, okay, $5 million business or $1 billion, whatever. Let's say I'm tapping into $5 million. Oh, I like 5 billion, but $5 million for this year, something like that, right? That's a quantum leap for me. And so who do I need to be the $5 million woman? Like who is the divine diva, right? In this space, which I walk you guys through in the divinity house. Anyway, and so I'm like, okay, I play bigger. I am bigger. I do the things bigger, right? And anything that needs to come up to be like, are you sure this is you? Are you sure? Will come to me. It shows itself to me. So I don't have to go seeking other stuff to clear. It comes to me to clear because I'm being the bigger version of me. And anything that doesn't match that will make itself known because I need to shift that in order to continue being that bigger version of me. And so I'm actively shifting, actively stretching myself, actively challenging myself to go bigger and go bigger and go bigger. Because anything that doesn't match that higher vibration has to shift. This is slip space creation. This is quantum leaping actively. I don't wait for growth, I create it. And I go really deep into this in Sugar Baby. And so this work, this shifting work gets to be fun. And let's be real, most people will avoid the healing work because it feels too heavy, too dramatic, too serious. But you've got to, like, to shift faster, you've got to make it fun. To shift faster, you've got to be in acceptance mode. You can't be in like resistance mode because when you resist something, it locks it in. So instead of saying, oh my God, I can't believe I've got to shift this again, or I can't believe this is happening again, you get to say, oh, this is interesting. This is happening again. I get to shift this. Oh, interesting. This is happening again. Okay. Where do I know now? Right? What have I decided that I believe? What beliefs am I leaving behind because this is no longer aligns with who I am? Whose beliefs am I taking on that aren't even mine that I can actually let go of right now? And then you let it go. I just was having a conversation with a client and I was talking about like the barbell weight. And so for so long we're like, oh, you know, I'm going to give you an analogy. So you're like, oh, this 20-pound weight is so heavy. Oh my God, it's so heavy. Oh, my hand wants to fall off. It's so heavy. Just drop it, let it go. Oh my God, it's so heavy. I wonder how long I'm going to be able to hold it. This is the heaviest thing I've ever held. Oh my God, it's so miserable. Well, you can just let it go. Oh, it's so heavy. Oh my God, my hand is falling off. I just feel like it's falling asleep. I can't hold it anymore. Oh my God. Let it freaking go. This is what is happening. So things that are coming up, they're coming up, they feel heavy. You can laugh and you can say, oh my God, I'm celebrating because now there's something else I get to let go. There's something else I get to heal. There's something else I get to like release. And a lot of it's going to be so simple. You're going to be like, is this my belief? Am I taking on somebody else's crap? Oh my God, I took on somebody else's crap. Well, I'm finished with this. I can let it go. Because guess what? The fact that you are feeling this is showing you that you're no longer aligned with it. The fact that it feels so uncomfortable is showing you you're no longer aligned with it. Because guess what? It used to happen before and you didn't even feel that you were holding on to the weight. It was just your weight. It was just a part of you. It was just like you moved a little slower. But now that you feel so uncomfortable, now that you're like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, that is letting you know you don't have to. You can now just let it go. You can now decide, I'm done. Shifting can be super fast. That's advanced level. And so if you want to shift faster, make it fun. Let it be a game. Laugh at the triggers. Don't make things bad or wrong. Just notice them, integrate, and move on. Next, stretch yourself daily. Speak so highly of yourself that your whole world starts adjusting to that new frequency, because anything not in alignment with that new frequency will make itself known. Anything. You need to be, I'm the best woman. I'm the best in the market. Like, I'm the best person at this. No one's better than me. This is the main thing. I am the best. I am this. I am that. You need to own that and say that and speak about yourself so highly and so lovingly and so kindly, and treat yourself with such grace and such space and such power. And then you're going to see anything that doesn't believe that, anything that doesn't align with that will make itself known, so that you can say, oh, I'm not aligned with that anymore. I'm going to choose to let that go. Let it go. Drop the 20-pound weight. And then lastly, be in the highest version of you now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, now. Whatever doesn't match will show up so that you can choose to actively shift it. Because this is how you move from doing the work to quantum shifting on command. And as you know, there are many, many spaces where I do this work with you. Divinity House for the established light worker, for the spiritual entrepreneur who's stepping into more visibility, more leadership, more impact. This is where we rise together. Message me or click the link in the show notes to find out more. La Lumiere, the Divine Diva Circle. This is for you if you are ready to do this work actively. It's an audio membership. There's 3 audios that are specifically for this membership, and it's included in Divinity House every week. It's about ascension, expansion, navigating the shift, quantum manifestation, quantum leaps. It is about all the things that you need in order to be the 5D New Earth leader that you truly are. Founding members, it's $44 a month, but once we launch, it's $144. And if you are listening to this after the founding member special, email podcast@alignedsoul.com to ask about the current podcast special. And lastly, you have this podcast. Come on, you were built for this. You know you're going to learn how to move through your lessons with ease and full divine diva energy. And if you want me to create more and more podcasts, and you have some things that you want me to talk about, questions that you have, things you want me to discuss on the podcast, go to podcast@alignedsoul.com and I will address it. Add your Instagram handle. I'll mention you on the podcast and I'll address you specifically. Just know we're just getting started. Give this a 5-star review. Share this everywhere you want to share it. Take a picture of you listening to this and tell me what you have learned from this. Tag me on Instagram at i.m.thealignedsoul and I will share you. Remember, you were built for this. We are just getting started. Hugs, kisses, all the feels. Stay bougie. Be healed. And keep it divine, diva.